Hi writing class, I hope you're all doing well and I hope you all had a great weekend. Welcome back to another week of digital learning. For today's class, we're going to be looking at lesson 44, parts A and B. So from now on until the end, lesson 50, all of the lessons will look the same as today's lessons. In all of them, you'll have a part A where you'll have to fix up and edit some sentences, and then in part B, we're going to be writing a story. But none of the stories we have will have anything filled in. So all of the pictures are going to be blank. That means you're going to have to write your own story. But don't worry, we'll do the first half of the story together, and then you'll be able to be creative and write your own second half of your story. So let's get started. So let's look at part A. In part A, it tells us that the writer forgot to punctuate some sentences that tell the exact words that somebody said. That means the writer forgot to add in his quotation marks. The writer also forgot to put commas in sentences that name 3 or more things, or in sentences that begin with the parts that tell when, where, or sentences that begin with the words if, although, or unless. So remember, if a sentence begins with a part that tells when or where, or if a sentence begins with the words if, although, or unless, you need to make sure to add a comma in that sentence. So please read the passage carefully in part A. Put in your missing capitals, your punctuation marks, your quotation marks, and your commas. So we'll read through the first little bit of the passage together. We'll edit it, and then I want you to edit the rest on your own. So the first sentence says, Little Blue Riding Hood was skipping down the path with a basket of goodies for her grandma. Right? We don't have any exact words. It doesn't start with a part that tells when. So we don't need, or it doesn't list more than 3 or more things, so we don't need to add anything to that sentence. The next sentence says, she came to a big wolf. Right? Once again, we don't have to change anything in that sentence. The next sentence says, the wolf said, hello, little girl, where are you going? Right? So we need to add in our quotation marks. We need to add in some punctuation marks. And we need to add in some capital letters. So let's reread that sentence. The wolf said, hello little girl, where are you going? Right, so first let's find the exact words that the wolf said. So the exact words the wolf said are, hello little girl, where are you going? So around those two sentences, those words, we need to add in our quotation marks. Remember, the first letter of the first word inside of the quotation marks has to start with a capital letter. So if we look, we can see that the first word is hello inside the quotation marks. So we need to make sure that starts also with a capital letter. Next, we need to add our question mark. So at the end of the second sentence, where are you going? Right, that's a question. We need to add in our question mark. So now what the sentence should say is, the wolf said, comma, question mark, capital H, hello, little girl, where are you going, question mark, and then quotation mark. So what I want you guys to do now is to read the rest of the passage and add in your missing punctuation, capitals, quotation marks, and any commas that are missing. So I'll see you guys in part B. So welcome back to part B. This is going to be a little bit different than what we're used to. So I'll read what it says in our book. So all of the pictures in part B are blank. I'll tell you the first part of a story. You'll use that first part, then you'll make up the rest of your story. So we're going to write the first part of the story together, and then I want you guys to be creative and make up the rest of the story. So listen to the first part of the story. We'll read through it, or I'll read through it, but then I'll show you guys what it should say, so don't worry. So the first part of the story should be, Tina and Robert went to the museum with the rest of their class. When they went into the dinosaur room, Robert said, I'm sure glad there are no dinosaurs alive today. Tina said, there is something very strange about this room. So we'll go over the words in the vocabulary box and the 4 checks. Then I'll have you guys write the first part of the story. And then once you've written the first part of the story, then you can write the last part of your story. So let's touch the vocabulary words and repeat them after me. So we have the words Tina, Robert, museum, dinosaur, noticed, Tyrannosaurus Rex, and Triceratops. Both of those last two words are types of dinosaurs. So be sure to spell those words correctly if you choose to use them. I'll read the 4 checks. Check 1 says, is each sentence punctuated correctly? Check 2 asks us, are there any unclear words in your paragraphs? Check 3 asks us, did you write at least 3 sentences that need commas? Remember, a sentence that begins with a part that tells when, where, or a sentence that begins with the words if, although, or unless needs a comma. A sentence that names 3 or more things also needs a comma. And a combined sentence with the word but will also need a comma. And then your check 4 asks you, did you write at least 5 paragraphs? Remember, you start a new paragraph whenever somebody new starts to speak. You also start a new paragraph when you begin a new part of the story. So let's listen to the first part of the story again. Tina and Robert went to the museum with the rest of their class. When they went into the dinosaur room, Robert said, I'm sure glad there are no dinosaurs alive today. Tina said, there is something very strange about this room. So use your own words to tell the first part of the story. So that's what we're going to go over. And then, once we've written the first part of our story, please use your creativity and write the rest of the story. So you can make up what people said, make up what people did. So this story is all up to you. So once again, this will be the first part of your story. Right? Tina and Robert went to the museum with the rest of their class. When they went into the dinosaur room, comma, right? We needed to add a comma here because this is a part that tells when, and it's at the beginning of our story, right? So when they went into the dinosaur room, comma, Robert said, right? And after the word said, we needed a comma once again. And then around the exact words that Robert said, we needed to have our quotation marks. So once again, when they went into the dinosaur room, comma, Robert said, comma, quotation marks, I'm sure glad there are no dinosaurs alive today, period, and then my closing quotation marks. Now we need to start a new paragraph because we have a new person speaking, which is Tina. Tina said, comma, quotation marks, and remember to start the first word or the first letter of the first word that somebody said has to start with a capital letter, right? So Tina said, comma, quotation marks, there is something very strange about this room, period, and then my closing quotation marks. So this is going to be the first or the beginning part of your story. Now what I want you guys to do is to write the rest of the story. Once again, you can be as creative as you would like, but please make sure to use some of the vocabulary words, and also please make sure to look over your 4 checks. So you guys have been doing an awesome job. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll see you in our next class. Bye.